Hello and welcome back to the Red Path. Today we're going to go over the latest FAQ and how it impacts our World Eaters. First off, if you haven't read the updates, there's links in the description so you can download and read along, as you'll want to be double checking. I try my best to provide accurate information, but if reviewing the Imperial Armour book taught me anything, the 99 things I do right will be ignored, but the one thing I do wrong will be commented on for months after the fact. So apologies in advance for any errors I make, but I'm going to try and keep it as fact-based as possible. Before I get into the meat of the discussion, I've got a couple of things I'd like to mention. First, the Discord server opened earlier this week and it's filling up nicely. Got a great community of folks there sharing tactics, hobbywork lore and everything else you could imagine, so please stop in if you're so inclined. Next, I'm going to start taking the opportunity to highlight related content in the 40k world that may be of interest to folks who watch these videos. There's a great blog resource out there called Warhammer, which focuses mostly on Chaos Demons, but they do touch on Chaos Space Marines occasionally. They have some really in-depth articles there covering updates and tactics and plenty of other stuff, so definitely go give them a look. The link will be in the description. If you're a content creator, whether YouTube, Twitch, blogs, Instagram or anything else, hit me up in the Discord and I'll be happy to shout you out. Nothing needed in return, just looking to raise everybody up. Anyway, on to the topic of this video. There are 3 FAQs that may be of particular interest to us: the GT 2020 Mission FAQ, the Core Book FAQ, and the points and power level updates, though I don't see any major changes in the power level, so I'm probably going to leave that one alone. I'm going to start with the GT pack, then move on to the core book, and then finish with the points. Then sum up my thoughts on how this helped or hindered the World Eaters. The first thing to note, which is a general change but is critical for combat armies, is the change to determining first turn. This is being touted as quite a significant change in most communities, but I don't personally see it as such. Previously, the winner of the roll-off would choose to take first or second turn. Now the winner must take first turn. This does eliminate some dithering and mind games from the deployment portion of the pre-game, sure, but ultimately in both situations you've got a 50% chance to go first. Without incredible experience, I'm talking 5 or 6 games a week every week, you should generally deploy to go second and assume you'll be taking a beat in turn 1, unless facing an opponent who can do little harm in the first round. As strategic reserves, secondaries and deployment all occur before this dice roll, there isn't much for us to gain or lose from it. Next, there were changes to some secondary missions: While We Stand We Fight, Bring It Down and Abhor the Witch. I've not used While We Stand We Fight, so I won't comment on that change, but I see Bring It Down as a minor buff for us. We give away fewer points per Rhino or Demon Engine now, and Abhor the Witch as a minor debuff, as it's the only psychic secondary we could take, but as previously discussed, best only against psychic heavy armies, so it's still a consideration. There's a lot of rare rules clarifications and I definitely recommend reading them. The biggest highlight for me was regarding disembarking large models. Dreadclaws and Charybdis can transport Hellbrutes and Contemptors, something I'm considering at the moment, and whilst a Hellbrute base is just under 3 inches, it's good to get some clarity on the option for it. With the update to the core book, there's a lot of repeated rare rules from the GT pack FAQ, but a couple of things of special importance to World Eaters. First, psychic actions can now be denied with Scorn of Sorcery, the Brass Collar Relic or any other means we may have to access through, say, allies. This may not crop up very often, but it's worth remembering as it could help trigger a point swing. Next, and far more importantly, is the change to how charges work. Definitely check the FAQ proper for the best explanation, but in short, if a unit arrives from reinforcements, say a squad of Red Butchers Terminators, and they are base to base 9 inches away from an enemy unit that's on a terrain feature, specifically one that has multiple levels, as engagement range is 1 inch horizontally and 5 inch vertically, it is possible that only an 7 or 8 inch charge is needed due to the way triangles work. Once this is understood and accepted, various things start to happen. If an enemy unit is 2 floors up, 10 inches away, with each floor being 5 inches apart, and the Butcher's deep strike 10 inches beneath them, they only need a 5 inch charge to get to the next level to be within 5 inches of engagement range. Throw in Violent Urgency and you get a 4 inch charge from deep strike. Now, don't get too excited. First, this does mean a target unit needs to be on a raised level of a multi-story building. It must be relatively unprotected to allow the 9 inch deep strike, and an 8 inch charge is still not great. You'll still want to stack buffs, Violent Urgency or an Icon of Wrath, for example, when relying on such a move, but it's definitely something to make sure you understand and to remember for when it does matter. On to the points. The first thing to note here is the final sentence of the second paragraph on page 1. Weapons not listed in a unit's entry cost no additional points. This is currently huge, and I'm fairly sure it will change, but for now at least we can enjoy some incredibly efficient buffs. So let's take a look at the biggest changes for us. Terminators, whether squads, lords or even sorcerers, no longer pay for most power weapons. Chain axes, power swords, power axes, power mauls and lightning claws, as well as storm bolters, are factored into their cost at 28 points per model. Previously, a Terminator with axe and combi bolter cost 27, so now that's 28, but you do get a free melee weapon upgrade. Power fists and chain fists do cost 5 points, but that's an overall reduction as they used to cost 10 points. I'm definitely considering the single claw and combi bolter build at 140 points for 5 models as ridiculous efficiency when coupled with red butchers. However, the loyalist variants cost 38 points a model assuming a power fist and storm bolter, which is only 5 points more for an extra wound, so I would expect the base cost to increase to 33 points a model when we do get 3 wounds on our Terminators. Hellbrute melee weapons, Reaper autocannons, plasma cannons and missile launchers are also now free, so a dual Scourge Hellbrute is 110 points, as would a Reaper missile launcher brute be too. This isn't as significant a change as it looks, but it does mean the dual Scourge variant went down about 10 points overall, and using the hammer is at least not overcosted, though probably still pointless. Whilst Bikers and Spawn remain the same points wise, Raptors and Warp Talons have gone down. Warp Talons are down to 23 points a model, which is where they were at the end of 8th edition, and they were reasonably costed then if used in conjunction with Vigilus strats and considering the abundance of Overwatch of 8th edition. Now not so much, but still not too bad. Raptors however are big winners here, dropping 3 points per model or 15 points for a minimum squad, for the bare bones build at least. Coupled with their utility as I've described elsewhere and the buff to chainswords, these are now a prime unit in my opinion. There was also a slight increase to the Rhino, it's now 80 points, that's the only other major change I've really noticed. So let's summarise. Overall, I think we came away from this update on a win. The changes to the missions proper come out as a wash for us, I think. First, turn roll off and secondaries and the big change to scoring at the end of turn 5 hit everybody equally, and whilst the nerf to Abhor the Witch sucks, we likewise profited from the nerf to bring it down. Core rules changes only help us in my opinion. A slight buff to occasional charges, clarification on disembarking large models, and the ability to deny psychic actions all tweak our potential just that little bit. Nothing overpowered or broken, sure, but every ocean is made of drops. Points wise however, I think we have some genuine buffs. All stripes of Terminator are improved for us, but the efficiency has redoubled on squads, so much so that I'll be switching out my Red Butcher's use from a Lord to a squad now, as those free claws just sound so damn tasty. Similarly, Raptors, who are already fairly costed and good for specific roles, just got cheaper and slightly better in combat, so that's a boost to their efficiency. We don't have any stratagems or options to make anything broken from these changes, but we can use them to fine tune our list a little. 10 Terminators with Claw and Bolter was 310 points and is now down to 280 points, essentially leaving you enough points to get a free spawn, or add extra upgrades to unit champions and whatnot. Ultimately, until we get our codex, we work with what we have, but it's nice to get a small upgrade in the interim. Okay folks, that's enough for this one. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. If not, leave a thumbs down. Hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on the latest videos, and don't forget to check out the Discord server. As ever, stay healthy, stay safe, and kill main burn.